5-minute meetup. This is a 5-minute video I do on Fridays instead of my usual longer form videos that I post on Tuesdays. And today I'm doing an actual advice video, and it is Preptober themed. Partially because I realized I didn't have anything scheduled for Preptober until like the very end of the month. And I was like, oh, I should do something Preptober. And also I wanted to do more advice videos anyway. So this video is all about how to choose which project to work on next, which is very timely for Preptober because when you're doing Nano, you've got a lot of ideas and it's hard to figure out which one you should be working on. And this is really the same for revising. I'll be doing NaNoWriMo during November because I'll be working on revisions. I won't be starting a brand new book, but I think these kind of like apply to both books you want to work on next in terms of drafting and books you want to work on next in terms of revisions. I've done NaNoWriMo 4 times. I have won twice, 50% ain't bad. And my debut book, my Black Witches book, I actually did draft that in Nano during in 2017. 2017 NaNoWriMo is when I wrote that book. So how to choose projects, like what to work on next. The first thing I would say to consider is how feasible is it? So NaNoWriMo is 1 month. So it really depends. Like, I don't know about you, but like most books I write don't end up being 50,000 words. They usually end up being closer to 100,000 words. So sometimes feasibility is like, which project can you like get 50,000 on? And it'll be like really solid. Like maybe it won't be like a fully fleshed out book, but it'll be completed and then you can add later. So for my Black Witches book in NaNoWriMo, I did 60,000 words. And then later I expanded that to like 92,000 words. But I did complete the book during Nano. So it had a beginning, middle, and end. It just like the middle wasn't as fleshed out, which I think is fine because Nano is like first draft. So you want it to be feasible. So if you have like 150,000 word epic, maybe that's not the book you want to do for NaNoWriMo. Same with revisions. If you have to revise like a gigantic beast of a book, like you've got 150,000 words, 200,000 words that you're like, I gotta revise down to a normal amount, maybe that's not the thing you want to do for Nano. Or even if you just know that you're like a slower drafter or a slower reviser, give yourself something that's like realistic for you to complete so that you can win and you can have that win for yourself. Or sometimes even just switch your goal a little bit. Like, okay, my book isn't going to be finished with 50,000 words, but I want to get 50,000 words done, or I want to revise that much. Something else to consider is like, what do you have prepared? Like, what do you already have in place? So like, if you have a sentence of an idea for one book and another book, you have like a full fleshed out like plot line in your mind already, that's probably the better project to go with because then you're not getting so overwhelmed by all the things you have to prep. You can kind of have a plan in place. This is speaking to really plotters and plantsers. If you're a total pantser, but I feel like even if you're a pantser, like having like a more fleshed out idea in your head versus having like a scrap of idea, like that's still part of what do you have to work with, and like choosing a project that you already like have a really good feel for puts you up for more success in Nano. Like a project where you know where it's gonna go, or you at least have a good idea of like where you can start to really get the ball going, is probably a better pick for a project for you than a project where you like have no idea what you're gonna do. And then lastly, I would say is pick the project that you're excited about. So even though I say those things like things that are feasible, something that's feasible and something you kind of already have like a good idea for, if you're not excited about it, it doesn't matter. So in 2017, when I did NaNoWriMo with my Black Witches book, I actually started doing NaNoWriMo with a different book. It was like a Death Reaper book. And I had a whole full plot for it. And I was like, okay, yeah, so this is what I'm going to do because I have a full plot for it. But I had that Black Witches like kicking at my brain. And I ended up getting to like the 10th of November and I switched projects because I just wasn't as excited about it as I was about the Black Witches book. So I had like nothing prepared. So that advice I gave you, I was like, oh, I have nothing prepared, which is why I talk about like choosing a project you're excited about, because in the end, like even though you want to do things like pick something that's the most feasible and pick something that you like have things prepared for, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to which project are you most excited to work on. And so that's kind of what it came down to for me. Like I was in the middle of November. I didn't really have anything prepared for that Black Witches book, but it was the most exciting project to me. And I think at the end of the day, like that's kind of what you need to go with. It's great to have something that you like have plotting for and that's feasible for the time. It's great to have stuff that's timely too. Like something just happened and you're like, wow, like this is the time to write this book. But at the bottom line is you got to be excited about it. And I think that's the thing about Nano. Like you're going to sit down for hours every day to write, to pump out this book as fast as possible, or to pump out a revision in that month. And you need to be excited, because otherwise it's going to suck. It's going to fucking suck if you're not excited. So bottom line, pick the project that you are the most excited about, because that's what's going to propel you through that month. So that's all for this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you like this video, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and have a happy Preptober. I'm gonna have one more Preptober video after this. So this isn't my only Preptober. I'm gonna have more. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.